Cool. All right, we're good to go, man. Everyone, this is Doug. I met him through a Facebook ad group. He was one of the first people to message me about doing a presentation for us. I put his hashtag in the group chat. If anyone is going to do a story tonight, make sure to tag him in it. But yeah, Doug, if you want to take it away, introduce yourself, and let's get this party started.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for all joining here today. This is pretty nerve-wracking for me. I'm usually on the other side where you guys sit, sitting in on training. So it's awesome to be here today. In the chat, can everyone write where they're from? I'm interested to kind of get to know you guys. While we wait for, the last few people to trickle in here. Canada. Oklahoma, okay. I got a buddy in Oklahoma. NYC, awesome. Cool, guys. So I guess what we're going to be talking here today, and I'll share my screen here shortly, but I just want to kind of go through what's called a 3x3 grid for Facebook posting and ads. And basically the idea here is it works pretty closely with personal branding. So I spoke with Adam over the last couple of days about, your guys' business model and what you do. And I think that you guys can implement some of these ideas into getting new clients and hopefully learning a thing or two along the way. So I don't want this to be me lecturing straight to you guys. Like I said, I know how it feels to be on that side. If you guys have questions, throw them in the chat. I know that we have like an hour scheduled, but I don't think we're going to take that long. I think, and I don't want it to take that long. I think 30 minutes is probably where we're going to go. And then I'm going to stick around and answer some questions as best as I can and talk to you guys about what issues you guys might be having with Facebook ads. So if you guys are ready, I think we can just go ahead and jump in. Cool. All right. So let me go ahead and present my screen here. All right. And can everyone see that? Give me a thumbs up. All right, cool. Okay, so basically, like I alluded to a little bit earlier, we're going to be talking about generating some leads through Facebook and personal branding and how you can leverage this to get some new leads in the door. So a lot of what I see in Facebook advertising is people and companies especially have a hard time defining their lighthouse client or who their niche is. So I spoken to Adam, and I know Adam works directly with construction workers or people in the construction field. And that's exactly what I'm talking about here. And I'm not sure if everyone's niched like that, but it's extremely important, especially when we go down the line here and we talk about the videos that you'll be creating, that you have a niche. And the reason that you do this is basically so that you can talk the talk, right? If you're able to identify and talk about problems that certain businesses have, you're going to be able to connect with them better. And that's kind of the whole idea behind this strategy here, is connecting with those business owners. So a niche can be anything from a vertical to a service to a specific area, right? And, I don't know how you guys do it or how it would best fit your business model, but basically like a vertical could be like Adam has with construction workers, right? That's a vertical. A service could be, strictly Facebook ads or Google ads or something along those lines. And then an area is, maybe anyone who lives in Vancouver, Canada. And the smaller that you can get that radius, the more relevant you're going to be. And the reason this is also important is because once you get that first client, scaling to the next 10 clients becomes so much easier. And once you get 10, you can get 100. And basically niching down just allows you to scale much quicker and much faster, because if you don't, what ultimately you end up having is what we like to call a dog's breakfast, right? You're just eager to get whatever you can get. and it is what it is. Whatever you're willing to do, whatever you want, you can to get that client. And you're just not going to have the perceived authority that you would if you were looked at as the specialty guy to go to for construction workers, for an example. So once you develop your niche and what you want to pick your focus in, the next thing I like to do is write down my XYZ statement. And this is a fancy way of saying your elevator pitch, right? So this is what you do in your area to help that business. So for example, this could be one: I help local service businesses drive more phone calls through Facebook ads, right? That's one sentence, super easy to understand. It gets your point across and they know your specialty, right? Pretty simple stuff there. And the whole idea behind this grid that we're going to talk about is we want to focus on selling the why and not the what. And I know that you guys are probably familiar because you're in the marketing field, that you probably heard these terms thrown around or seen examples of this. But if you think of like Microsoft versus like Apple, I think that's probably one of the strongest examples is, you know, whenever Microsoft tries to sell a PC, they focus on gigahertz and RAM and wattage and other things that, you know, non-tech people, they don't care about, right? Like that doesn't mean anything to them. But when Apple sells a computer, they sell the idea or the why behind it, right? So they sell a machine for creatives who want to change the world. And just that sentence right there immediately allows that company to charge 10 times more than a PC, right? Just because of the idea of it and the idea behind it. And I have a great example. So this right here, it's one of my clients, full disclosure, but it's a candle company, right? And to a normal person, you know, it's a candle, so what, right? But if I tell you the why behind it, that the owner of this candle company, her daughter was misdiagnosed whenever she was born, and they operated on her, and now she's mentally disabled. And after the age of 22, government funding cuts off for mentally disabled children. So in order to survive, she created this candle company where now she employs only mentally handicapped children, and they create candles and sell them. Now, wouldn't you pay more to benefit that or donate to that client or buy a candle for them? For sure, right? And I think that selling your why, and obviously the candle example, that's an extreme why, right? Not everyone's going to have a story like that, but your story can be, you know, related to you, and it can be as simple as something that you experienced that day. Like, for example, you could talk about how you went to Whole Foods in the morning and you went to buy a smoothie and some lady cut you off and you were going to yell at her, but you decided not to because you knew that maybe she was having a bad day. And that's why you think we need to treat people with more compassion because we don't know what others are going through. And making a statement like that in a video like that just connects you with other users and other clients in a better way than if you're just selling your what, right? Because at the end of the day, people buy from people. And especially when you're talking about, you know, service related things or you're looking to guide people, the whole thing is you want them to be able to trust you, right? I think trust is the ultimate goal. And if you're just focusing on the what, like I have a $99, you know, special, ultimately not a lot of people are going to buy from you because they don't trust you or know who you are, right? Like if you're getting, one of my favorite examples is if you're, you know, a doctor or something, and could you imagine going around saying, I have 2 open heart surgeries left for $99? Who wants them? Imagine that. No one would ever want that. It would never work. You'd be like, no, I'm okay. I think I'll pass. So the way I like to treat myself and treat clients is trying to be like that. Rather than being outbound, try to be more inbound, right? Try to explain your why and teach people different things, and people will come to you. So I know everyone is probably, if you're in the marketing field at least, you've seen the graph on the left, the funnel on the left, right? It's the awareness, consideration, and conversion funnel. Basically, that's each step a customer goes through whenever they purchase a product from you. And another way of saying this is know, like, and trust. And another way of saying that would be why, how, and what. So you're explaining why you do something, how you do it, and then what it is that you're selling, right? And this is where the 3x3 grid that I mentioned earlier comes into play, because we're gonna be making 3 videos in each of these 3 categories. Okay, so why is your story. How is how you educate someone. You can teach them something simple. I know if you guys are selling like digital marketing or something along those lines, you can make simple videos of how to change your business hours on Facebook, or how to change your Facebook URL, or how to change your hours on Google. And these things will basically just teach clients how to do little things. And what oftentimes you'll see is they'll go through these things. You'll overwhelm them with how much there is to do, and they'll give up and say, I want to hire someone, or, maybe this isn't for me, or something along those lines, right? And the what is what you're actually selling, but you can only get to the what if a client has seen your why and your how, right? So the 3x3 grid, the idea and the premise behind this is you create a 1-minute video in each of those categories, and you create 3 1-minute videos. And the whole reason behind the 1 minute is too many people kind of reverse engineer this step, right? They start out, there's no point whenever they start their video, right? They'll put like their fancy logo in the beginning. They'll have, they'll say, my name is blah, 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 and I'm selling this product and this product, but that doesn't hook a user. And on Facebook, the average watch time is around 6 seconds, right? So you don't have time to waste whenever you're starting a video. If you start out with like a bumper, fancy graphics, talking about things that are irrelevant, it's not going to convert. You have to hit them hard up front in the very beginning with your hook. And I'll go through a script of what that kind of looks like. But that's basically the idea, is these 1-minute videos. And the reason we're doing 1 minute is because we found that is the best watch time. People are willing to sit there for a minute and watch it. And then also you can use that to build a retargeting audience later on down the line. So after a user watches 10 to 15 seconds, you can put them into a custom audience and then retarget them. So you can kind of see how these videos, they kind of sequence in order, right? And you can create custom audiences based on who's seen what video. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. So the why, and I just want to give a quick example. So this is kind of like a script that you guys can follow. So the first thing you want to say is when I was, and you want to insert an age or where you were in your life or a phase in your life. For 40 seconds, you want to talk about that problem that you encountered, right? 15 seconds is explaining your belief or what you're striving to achieve. And then 5 seconds, the last 5 seconds, you introduce yourself and say what you're selling or what you're trying to do or create. So oftentimes people will, like I say, reverse engineer this, and they'll do, my name is Doug Surkoch and I created Look Media. And by that time, users are gone, right? But if I say, when I was working in the corporate marketing world, I saw a lot of small businesses get frustrated with their marketing companies, and they would throw their hands up in frustration because these marketing companies were hiding statistics and strategies in a black box. And I believe that it doesn't need to be like that. That marketing can be transparent, open, and honest. My name is Doug Surkoch, and that's why I created Look Media. Do you see how that is a much more enticing of a video than if you reverse engineer that? It becomes emotional rather than logical. And if you look and you kind of study how people buy, they often buy with emotion and not logic. And if we revert back to the Windows versus Apple, because I'm a computer nerd, so that's easy for me to talk about. But whenever someone says, I have $1,000 computer on sale, oftentimes that may work in certain circumstances, but Apple, who's selling that $3,000 computer, that's the one you ultimately want, right? That's the one that you're striving to get. That's the one you're going to save up for longer and take out that credit card for, or whatever it is. And that's all because of the emotion behind it rather than the logic. The PC or the Windows computer might be a better deal, but the Apple computer is the one that you might strive for. So the how, like I said, it's basically just teaching someone a process. And this can be something simple or it can be something complex. But basically the whole idea and structure behind this step is just to gain trust from users, right? You just want to prove that you're the expert, you know how to do this. And even if you don't know really how to do it, you can kind of fake your way through it because you can control the content, right? You can control what you're teaching them or how it works. So you can learn something and then teach it to people. And this is going to instill so much more trust in users. That way you're just not asking for their money, saying, buy this, buy this, buy this. And then finally, the what category, that is what you're selling. So finally, once you get here, this is when you're able to kind of ask for a purchase. So, okay, so we have 3 videos in each category, 3 why videos, 3 how videos, and 3 what videos. So now the question is, what do you do with them? So we're going to start on Facebook, but this strategy works across the board. Go to wherever your niche is, go to wherever they're hiding. If it's on LinkedIn, you can do this on LinkedIn. If it's Instagram, you can obviously do it on Instagram. But this works across the board. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to post it all to your page. So Facebook is where we'll start because that's where pretty much everyone starts. Post it all to your business page. Okay. And you don't have to spread this out between, 2 weeks, or you can post them all in one day. It doesn't matter. If you guys are familiar, only like 10% of people who like your business page will actually see the post. So even if you post them all in one day, only like 10% of people are going to see it. So it's not a big deal. But what you're going to do is you're going to post these 1-minute videos on your page, and you're going to boost them for $1 a day for 7 days. And the strength behind Facebook and why I suggest boosting is because nowhere else in any marketing platform can you get 600 people a day for $1. I mean, that is like the cheapest you can possibly get. The CPM on that is super low. And obviously those numbers are going to vary depending on your niche and how much targeting you put behind it. But getting 600 people a day to see your video for $1 a day is incredible. And what you're going to do is you're basically just going to target those to people in your lighthouse. So me and Adam spoke about this a little earlier. A great example of this was a guy named Dennis Yu. And he's kind of the teacher and founder of this strategy. But don't worry, I'm allowed to share this information. He shares it for free. and he gave me the okay. But the idea behind this is, and what he did is he got some of his friends, he had some connections, and he had some pretty high authority people make 1-minute videos about how he is the Facebook god when it came to, doing Facebook ads. So when the story broke with Cambridge Analytica and all these things, what Dennis did was take those 1-minute videos and target people who work at CNN, right? And he used the why strategy for this. So he just boosted these videos for $1 a day to people who work at CNN from these high authority people. And when it came time for CNN to bring someone in to talk about what's happening with Facebook, who do you think they called? Dennis. Because he was top of mind. Whenever that time came, the people who work at CNN didn't even realize that those were ads. And that's kind of the whole strategy behind this, is to make your advertisements not look like ads. And you just target them to the right people. And Dennis got onto CNN doing that strategy and blew his business into a multi-million-dollar business. Because once you get on CNN, I mean, you guys can all pretty much imagine what that would do for your business, right? You'd be all over the place as featured on CNN, and you'd put that interview everywhere. And that would blow your business up, right? So this is like that same idea, but on a much smaller scale to get clients to come to you, right? So I personally do this all the time, and I'll show you on my page in a little bit. I have a picture with Dennis whenever he came down here to Miami, where I live. And I boost all my content that I have, like photos with him and videos of him. I boost it to people who like Dennis, to Dennis's Facebook page. Because I know that Dennis has connections in the marketing world. He has a lot of small businesses following him, but he has so much volume that he's charging so much, and these small businesses can't afford him. So I kind of piggyback off of his work. So you can kind of see how creative you can get with this strategy. And like I said, you're only spending $1 a day. So the thing that works well is in the why and the how section, not to put buttons or links to go out to any sources, right? So why do we do this? It's because Facebook loves Facebook, to keep it straight with you. If you can not let users leave Facebook, the app, they will charge you less. Every time that you put a link out to go somewhere, Facebook is going to charge you or give you less amplification, if you will, right? They're going to charge you more because you're sending them away from the app. So in the why and the how, where you're just explaining and gaining trust to users, the best thing that you can do is not have buttons or links that leave Facebook, just so you don't get charged more, right? And also what you want in these two categories is, and we'll talk about this a little later, but you don't want your ad to seem like an ad, right? I mentioned that a little earlier. And what does an ad look like, right? It's horizontally filmed. It has CTAs all over the place. It's pretty professional. And ultimately, you can do all of this stuff with your phone. You can just make a 1-minute video, like I said, saying when I was working in the corporate world. You can make that 1-minute video, record it on your phone. And I promise you that if you do that, make it vertical and boost it for $1 a day to the right audience, you will see results from that. And I think that is the most powerful thing that Facebook has. Because whenever you think of like a user coming to a social media site, they don't want to be sold, right? They don't want to see an ad. That's not what they're there for. They're there to be entertained, maybe to be educated, to learn something. But too many clients are trying to just spam them with ads and trying to hit them without building that relationship first. So if you can show them that you want to build the relationship, Facebook is going to notice that, and your CPMs are going to drop. And then your customers are going to trust you more and be more willing to talk to you. And also, users are savvy enough. I think this is in the marketing field too. We don't give users enough credibility. If a person wants to reach out to you, they don't need the button, right? They can click on your profile and direct message you. Everyone knows how to do that. That's simple stuff. So yeah, you don't need to be linking out anywhere. Just have them message you directly through your profile, and you won't have to pay for that lead that way. So it's kind of like a hack to get your CPMs down and still get leads. But the main idea of this thing is to just get brand awareness, more or less, is to get trust and get users to understand who you are and why you're doing something. Okay, so now we're going to talk about how do you scale this past that 7 days, right? Because we're only 7 days in. We have 9 videos up, and they're all boosted for $1 a day, right? So at the end of the 7 days, what you're going to do is you're going to go into your Facebook page, and you can look at the insights that you received from those boosts. See the performance, look at the average watch time, and look at, the engagement rate on it, and pick one winner from each category. So one winner from the why, some winner from the how, and one winner from the what. And what you can do then, and it will be obvious which one won. And if you're not sure, pick your favorite one. What you can do then is scale that to 30 days, right? So far we spent $7 per ad for $1 a day over 7 days. You had 9 videos. So you're like, what? 36 bucks or whatever. That's way cheaper than any ad that you'll ever see. Your CPMs on that are so low. I mean, if you run an ad through Ads Manager, your minimum is like $5 a day. So you're at $37 or $36 or whatever, and all you're doing is testing ads. This is the greatest way to test ad creatives before you launch them into an ad. So, okay, you pick your winners, scale them to the $30 a day. So you're going to boost them again for $1 a day, but now for 30 days. And at the end of that 30 days, you're going to do the same thing. Go into your insights. Out of those 3, which one won? There's going to be one clear winner. And that is when you can turn that ad or that boosted post into an ad, right? Because now you understand what resonates with your user base. You understand that the creative works. You understand that the targeting worked. And now you can turn that ad or that boosted post, into an actual ad if you want. If your budget isn't fit for, turning that into an actual ad, you can just continue to boost it. Instead of $1 a day, put $3 a day. It's going to keep going. Once you have that juice, that algorithm juice going, it's going to scale as long as you can go through it, as much budget as you can put behind it. It's kind of like if you think of, you're trying to create like a greatest hits, right? You're trying to find your greatest hits in an album. Instead of trying to be like a newspaper, you're trying to be a rock star, right? Why not have a rock star song that you can replay all the time rather than creating new content like a newspaper does, where you're constantly needing a new story? Try to come up with a video that hits that audience particularly well, and then that you can just put on repeat and throw money into whenever you need a lift in the business. Okay, so you start at 9 videos, you step it down to 3, and then you step it down to 1, and then you turn that into an ad. So it's kind of like a marketing funnel, but for your videos. And the beauty of this is it's probably not going to work the first time that you do it. You might get one ad that works decently well if you're lucky. But the beauty of this is it's scalable, right? After you do this set and after you complete that 30 days, do it again. You always have more videos to create and you always have more things to talk about. This is a repeatable process that you can keep churning and churning until you get the results that you're looking for, until you get that greatest hits that you can just let ride. And once you get those greatest hits, like I said, you can just sit back and keep dumping money into them. But the idea here is that you just want to keep creating these 1-minute videos and not worry too much about the quality of the videos. Just do what you can do, right? Make a 1-minute video. Obviously, the better you can make it look. Go outside, get good lighting, do simple things like that. But ultimately, what you'll find is a vertical video held on your phone is going to convert much higher than an ad that looks like an ad. And if you can be real and talk about real things that real people suffer with, especially in your niche, you're going to see a lot more success. And one of the greatest quotes I've ever heard, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Gary Vee. He's a pretty social media guru and public speaker, but he talks about this, and he basically says that quality is subjective, right? I have a pretty good background, I should say, in film. I used to own a film business. So what is quality to me? What I'm trying to say is what's quality to me might not be quality to you, right? And vice versa. So quality is subjective, but quantity, no one can argue quantity, right? If you're putting up 9 videos a week, a month, that's impressive, right? And ultimately, that's how you're going to get to that home run that you'll find, and that hit that you can keep replaying. And lastly, this is kind of like a bonus thing. I know that idea of constantly making videos, people hate videos. I understand. I hate being on videos. This is not my strong suit. You can probably tell it's not what I'm, meant to be doing, but there's something that you have to get over. And something that you guys can do is leverage each other, right? Like, you guys are all in this same group. So imagine if you guys had like a one-on-one Zoom and you recorded it, and then you talked about, why you started doing this business, how you bring results for clients, and then what you're actually doing. And you guys can interview each other, talk about those why, what, and hows, and then put that into that 3x3 grid. And then you can also ask clients or people who you've worked with in the past to do the same thing. And the beauty of this is you can say, hey, do you want to be on my podcast, or call it whatever you want. And you'll find that people will jump, especially small business owners will jump at the fact that they're going to be on a podcast. And all a podcast is a recording of a video, right? You can skin it how you want and make it sound all fancy, but ultimately you can just bring them on. And what you'll see is if they'll give you testimonials if you ask the right questions, right? You don't want to say, you don't want to be so direct with it. Like, can you give me a testimonial? Because that's not genuine and it's not going to work. But if you go in and you say, hey, Adam, talk to me about the experience that we had setting up this, Zoom meeting here. You might say, oh, Doug, it was great. It was super simple. I just hit you up on Facebook, and next thing I know, we were booked. And that's great. Now I can take that snippet of Adam saying that, and I can use that as an asset or an ad or a boosted post to other people who maybe have audiences like this, like you guys, who are looking for people to talk about Facebook ads or teach this strategy elsewhere. You see how you can kind of like use inception, if you will, to get the results that you want or use. Like the dentist example for CNN is, I think, one of the greatest examples of that. You can literally manipulate the media to get them to do what you want for $1 a day on Facebook. Is that not like incredible? That blows my mind. So that's it. That's what I have for the 3x3 grid. Like I said, I'm going to stick around. I want to hear you guys' questions. I know that there's probably some floating around, and I haven't been able to check the chat, so I'll jump in there right now. But maybe if you guys want to unmute yourselves, ask me a question. I'll try to do the best I can and answer it for you guys. But thank you guys for having me. That was a lot of fun. So if you guys have questions, feel free.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for coming out. This is definitely something that I had learned like a couple of years ago, like a little bit of it, but not so in depth. So I'm pretty pumped, and it's something I've been pushing away too. Like I know I need to make videos, and I've been going live a lot, but I have not done a whole lot of boosted videos at all. So appreciate you coming on to go over this. Could you show a little bit of your page, maybe some of the ones that you've boosted?
Yeah, I can show you. So admittedly, I'm not even the best at this. This is something that I'm still working on myself. As far as like boosting and creating this content.
Yeah.
I recently just made this my full-time job. So
nice.
I'm still in the process of scaling all of it, but I'll show you just real quick a why video if you guys want to see what an example of a why video might look like. I was working in the Can you guys hear the audio?
A little bit.
So when I was working in the corporate marketing world, I saw a lot of frustration come from small business owners. And this frustration came from when they were asking their marketing company how, when, and why certain budget was being spent. And these marketing companies were basically hiding behind a black box, right? They were saying that this proprietary information or proprietary scripts about that stuff. And ultimately, that led to a huge distrust between small businesses and marketing. And I don't think it needs to be like that. I believe that marketing can be completely transparent and open and honest. And I can show you the optimizations we're making and changes and budgets. Because ultimately, as a marketer, at the end of the day, my whole job is to make sure that your business is successful. And I want you to be able to see that information. I have nothing to hide. My name is Doug Surkoch, and that is why I started Look Media.
Cool.
See? Thank you. Yeah.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah. So my situation's a little different because I'm trying to get small businesses to hire me for marketing.
Yeah.
But that's an example of a why video. I have some how videos where basically what I'll do is I'll take small businesses around me, I'll take their website and I'll redesign it and show them, these are the changes I would make. Your website works and it's okay. It does its job, but here's how we could optimize it to be better. And I'll redesign their whole website and send it to them. They don't ask for it. It's nothing like that. It's just like a tip or whatever. And I've sold websites just off of doing that.
Nice.
And so the thing here is, right, then I'll take those videos and I'll boost them to people who are in that same area. So if I do like a vet clinic and I redesign their site, I'll take it and boost it to other people who work in the veterinarian space.
Right. And
that's kind of how I'm trying to scale it through my own personal page. So
right. Makes sense.
It pretty much, this 3x3 grid, it works across the board, regardless of what you're trying to do. I mean, right. You could be, like I said, selling candles or trying to get, marketing retainers. It works for pretty much any niche. It's just right. The content that changes.
Right. Yeah, that makes total sense. And you said you could, so do you go into like your ads manager and then create like a new audience on people who have seen those videos or people that watch it all the way through?
Yeah. So attention, there's a lot of things that I could talk about advanced targeting and all this stuff. And this isn't something where I'm like, no, you got to pay for that or whatever.
Right.
It's not that. It's just 90% of the things that I see, especially when I jump into other people's ad campaigns or whatever, is they don't have the fundamentals right.
Right.
As far as like the targeting and all that stuff, it's great, but people overcomplicate things way too much and it bottlenecks the performance of their ads. For all intents and purposes, all you really have to do is boost your posts, pick your audience, meaning your radius and then, or your niche or whatever that is, and let Facebook figure the rest out.
Right.
If you do too many like custom audiences, negative audiences, competitors, all this other stuff, what's going to happen is you're choking the algorithm into underperforming. People try to get too fancy and try to overcomplicate things when the algorithm is way smarter than we give credit for. So in these examples, what I would focus on is not focusing on the custom audiences and just put those 9 videos up all to the same audience. Okay. And what you'll find is Facebook will naturally progress them from one video to the next. Now, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be like they're going to see why, how, and what. They might see how, what, and then why, but they're going to see all 3, and especially if they watch them. And that's okay, because they're still getting to know you, they're still learning, they're still trusting, and then they're understanding what you sell. So the ordering and the sequencing, you can get into that, but ultimately you don't need to. It's like people try to overcomplicate things and get the award for suffering more or whatever. And I've seen this across the board from clients who spend $500 a month to $10,000 a month in ads directly. And they always do that. And I've never had a client where I've showed them what I've done and I'm boosting posts and then get mad because it's only boosting or whatever, right? Because all they care about is results, right? They don't care about how I'm doing it or that I'm not using, 14 custom audiences and negating things out. They don't care. They just want results. So don't kill yourselves over the targeting. Just boost them for $1 a day to people in that general area. And Facebook will figure it out and you'll get the results you want.
So may I ask a question, Doug?
Yeah.
When you post those videos, the 9 videos at once, so how do you post like all the hows, all the whats, all the whys? Or do you post like one of each and then one of each and then one of each? Or is there a certain sequence that you should use to post them?
Good question. No. And it doesn't matter. As long as you can keep track of the grid in your head, right? The why, the how, and the what. You don't want to label them like that.
No.
But you want to be able to know what video is what.
Okay.
Okay. And the content in the video is how you can kind of keep track of it, right? If you start out when I was, that's a why video. Yeah. If you're teaching someone something, it's a what, or a how. And then if you're selling something, then it's a what.
Okay.
Right? So you don't need to tell Facebook that they go in a specific order or anything. Like I said, you can post them all at once. It's okay. Your audience isn't going to see them. Like only like 10% of your audience is going to see it. And if they're in your audience, who cares about them, right? They're already familiar with you.
Okay.
You're kind of trying to get new clientele to sign on. So don't worry about that. Just post them all at once and then boost them. Good question though. Thank you. Cool. Any other questions that I could answer? Cool. All right, Adam. Well, if there's no more questions, if there's no more questions, I would love for you guys to connect with me. And if you are looking forward to creating content, like if you need someone to create content, if you make a why video and you send it to me, I'll give you like a testimonial about your marketing skills or whatever you tell me that you want a testimonial for. So that's my homework for you. If you send me your why video, that 1 minute when I was, and tell me your struggle and why you're doing what you're doing, I'll send a testimonial back saying, Adam is a great Facebook marketer and you should listen to everything he says and blah, 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 blah. And then you can use that and boost that post against your audience. And hopefully that will bring you in some more clients.
Nice. Awesome, man.
Cool.
Thank you so much. I did let everyone know as well to give you a testimonial and to tag you. So I know a few people have already started following you on Instagram. So
Yeah, I saw that come through.
Awesome. So yeah, we'll get those to you. And thank you so much for coming out and do this. I really appreciate it. And you know, I'm sure you and I will keep in touch and really appreciate you coming out, man.
Yeah, guys. Thank you guys for having me. I loved it.
Thank you so much.
You guys are welcome.
Thanks, Doug. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
See you, buddy. Bye.
Awesome.
Cool. How'd everyone like that?
That was awesome.
Definitely a different way than we've been doing things. But that's cool. I'm stoked. I mean, now really at the end of the day is we got to do it, right? I mean, now we've been shown a totally different way to grow your brand and grow your business. But if we don't actually do these videos, that was for nothing.
That
right?
was really interesting.
It is, right?
Especially like when he was talking about that Dennis Yu who was like doing all the CNN people, like, so, you know, as he's talking, I'm writing down, oh, I could target people who like this woman and like this woman and like this woman, because they're the people that I want to come to me, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, that is really cool.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how you can target it though that way, like specifically to like, so for example, like people who like Brene Brown, I would target to people who like her, but how do you specifically, I should have asked that. I'm just thinking about it now, but how do you specifically target it to people who like Brene Brown?
You can target people who like Gary Vee. You can target people who like Robert Kiyosaki or
So and you just
Tiger
type that
Woods.
in those little boxes?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you just go to, you know, just like an interest box, right? Just write Brene Brown in there, and they'll say people who like or follow Brene Brown.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
And I like
Okay,
I like that he said to keep your audiences like bigger. Like it doesn't have to be so condensed, because I've had a couple ads that I've done it where I just did like construction and extraction, sales and management, and I didn't do like 5 different targeting, and I got a lot of leads from it. I mean, the leads weren't like awesome, but they started getting better. I'm assuming that's how Facebook algorithm works. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm excited to try this out, and I mean, I've been procrastinating doing videos for a long time. So, you know, knowing you just take your phone outside and do a like 1 minute video. Anyone here can do a 1 minute video. It doesn't have to be crazy, right? When it comes down to the how videos, talk about being a mentor, talk about guiding people, right? Talk about how you can help someone change their circumstance, right? I'll probably talk about helping someone with money management, right?
So then
go ahead.
Is the what our training?
That exactly. That's what I was gonna say. So when you do your what video, it's gonna be, you know, what we do is help people go from employee to entrepreneur. We've created a training, then talk about the training for almost a minute, and then you can have a button on there that says send message or click here to get into the training.
Yeah, click here to create an account or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. What everyone else think?
It was good.
it. It's awesome.
Cool.
It was really good. Yeah, very informative for sure.
Awesome. Well, out of the people here, who is going to have at least one 1 minute video done by the end of the weekend? Austin, get your hand up. Cool. Well, that's the thing, right? Like we can learn this stuff, but if we don't apply it, then our business can't grow. So, you know, even if you have a couple hours and your first video does really good, throw on another shirt, do another why video, right? Like, and your why videos, like for me, I want to spend more time with my kids. I was tired of living the same day over and over again, and I love proving people wrong. Those will be my 3 why videos. They came to my head right away, right? Austin and Brennan could be, I want to be a golf pro. I don't want to work every day, right? I want the nicer things in life. I want a yacht, right? So whatever it is for you and your niche, just that, those can be your whys. Everyone has a different why, right? And I'm sure it's not just one thing. Austin, did you have something you wanted to say? I feel like you did.
I was gonna make a small comment on before, but
sorry.
I'll be honest. No, I'd have to sit down and really think, because like I'm not. It's hard for me to really get what's inside here and say it in a good good flowing way.
Yeah.
That's my one problem.
Well, he wrote, like, you can watch the replay if you didn't take the notes on it, but he had like kind of an outline.
He said, and not to mention, watching his video, that did kind of help.
Yeah.
I took pictures of all of the I took pictures of his PowerPoint presentation because I wasn't sure he'd share it with us.
Oh, well, I recorded the Zoom meeting.
Yeah, he recorded that. So
so it'll be up on our group page.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good. And then so just what I would do is write scripts, right? You can when I was working one day, blah blah blah, and you just go through the hardship of your story. But I believe that we all deserve a chance to chase our dreams or whatever. My name is Austin Hale. That is why I created, and then your brand, right? So
that makes a lot more sense, because that wrapping up at the end was gonna be like my hardest thing to do, because I was like, how am I gonna like wrap this up to make it look like I did this for a purpose? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, there you go. So at the end, you literally introduce yourself and say, that's why I created. Or if you don't have your brand nailed down, you can say, that's why I joined Small Town Design. Right? You can say that. If you don't have your brand nailed down, that's okay. Just say, that's why I joined Small Town Design. And then when you do your what videos, which is basically the sale, you can talk about getting into our group or the training or whatever, right? And getting people in that way. So yeah, it's pretty well laid out. Kylie?
I was just going to say something I've learned over the years, which I love what he said, was when you introduce yourself last, for the most part, people only remember the last thing you say. They'll rewatch it, but for the most part, like when I introduce myself over the phone, the last thing I'll say is, my name is Kylie. Well, hi, Kylie. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's the only thing they heard was, oh, it's Kylie.
Yeah.
So I think that's really, really beneficial to end it with your brand or your name, or because then they're gonna be like, oh, what's that? And they'll either rewatch it or then they'll go and go to that, right? So search it, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, that makes total sense. And yeah, people's attention span are so short. Like you said, the average is 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. If you spend the first 6 seconds saying, hi, my name's Adam. I'm I do this and this and this. They're gonna be like, oh, cool. I'm gonna go to the next video. Swipe up. It's just how it works. So I like the way he outlined it all, and I'm pretty excited to get it going on. I think everyone should, once we're done here, set a goal for when you want all 9 of your videos done. And if you get your first why video out this weekend, which you should, then boost it right away, right? You don't have to boost them all. Like, they don't all have to be on at the same time and then boost them all. Just know your numbers after the 7 days. You'll still, like, I'll be able to, I can show you how many impressions you got, how many likes, how many comments. It should be a pretty clear, picture of which one did the best anyway. But start getting the videos up, right, as soon as you can. And trust me, the last 3 will be a lot easier than the first 3. So just start getting them done. Don't procrastinate on it, and we can keep going forward here. Cool. Does anyone have anything they want to say or share or ask before we jump off?
I want to wish Rachel happy birthday.
Hey, happy birthday, babe.
Thank you.
Woohoo, 21, legal, there we go, woohoo.
That's awesome.
I'm definitely sluggish today.
Yeah, Rachel drank too much last night.
Way too much.
Oh, great.
Good for you. You deserve it. Did your husband look after you?
Of course.
Yep.
Good job.
You just gave her conch and it was like, there it is. I bought you a machine. That's what's
I
cool,
told
right?
I
That's
told her to
actually
drink
what he did.
I told her
Keep
to drink
drinking water.
11.5 and she wouldn't do it. Too good. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you for showing up. I think that was super valuable. Let's get after it. And if you guys
Set
need
that
anything
up,
over
yeah.
the weekend, we're gonna be away, but you can always message us.
We're meeting. Oh,
Yep, Sunday.
okay.
I'll meet you. We'll be meeting on Sunday.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend, everybody, and we'll talk again
Thank
later.
you. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye, guys.
See you, team.